Welcome everybody to this video. Today what we're gonna be doing is basically mangas that you've never heard of. You might have heard of these. I might just be lying. I don't know. I don't know what people know about, but these are manhwas that I've never heard, never seen, never talked about. I mean, actually, one of them I have. One of them is a little bit of a cheat, and one of them does have an anime. But two out of the four are genuine mangas that I don't think anybody's ever seen, except for me. I mean, obviously, people have. I don't know what I'm talking. This literally has 2,000 people tracking it. How about this one? 4,000, 4,000. Okay. Well, this one's the least popular, at least. This one's called Aries. It takes place somewhere kind of like ancient Rome. It's about these three friends. When I was looking for this manga, I was looking for badass main characters. And yes, I got one. There's Aries, Michael, and Baruna. The artwork is kind of on this one, but the main character, Aries, he's in the middle. Michael is this guy, and Baruna is this guy. Story is pretty, like, really good. It's only 200 chapters. A lot of shit happens in it. It's like ancient Rome. Expect, like, what are those things called? People who fight. Mercenaries, barbarians, whatnot. Mercenary group, basically. That's what the main character is a part of. Yeah, just expect that badass kids fighting and really cool. And it's not shonen, I'm pretty sure. Let me double check. Yes, not. And this is a Korean shit. Wow, this is Korean. I didn't know that. But this one's pretty good. The story, it's really good. The story, the way it ends is kind of. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest with you. The way it ends is, but because it's like you're kind of like when you're reading this manga and you get a sense of what's going on and what's going on with particularly one of the characters, you're one of the main characters, so one of Aries, Michael, or Baruna, you're kind of just like, okay, when is that gonna happen? And you're just waiting for it. And then when it finally does, it's kind of just like, this is such a letdown. Well, maybe because I was binge reading it and I didn't really like, I don't know. But the final like thing in the last like the ending was just kind of mid. I'll be honest with you. That's really the only problem I have with it. Other than that, I like it. The artwork is meh. The story's really good. The fighting's pretty cool. It's really good to follow. Just go ahead. You've never heard of it. Why don't you just go ahead and read it if you've never heard of it? How about that? How about that? I'm pressing you. Go read that shit. Now next is Holy Land. Now Holy Land is a bit different from the other one. This one is kind of different because for the first part, I'll split this shit into four parts. The first two parts and the last part are all good. They're pretty good. The first two parts, you get progression of the story, and then the main character develops, and then he learns how to fight better. And then the second part is like he's learning how to fight better. He's getting into better fights. The story is getting a little bit better. The third part is like, why the fuck? What's going on? Like, why is this like? Why did this shit just turn into garbage for like so long? And then the last part is like, okay, finally, this shit is like coming to an end, and then finally it's getting to whatever, and then finally it ends, and it's like beautiful. But there's like this part, like the third part, where it's kind of just what the fuck, like what is this nonsense? Background. It's basically about a kid in school who learns how to fight after like on the street and shit. And then it's basically about finding your holy land. And holy land is like your godly space, the place that you thrive in, the place that you look for. The it's basically it says it right here. However, one thing left another, and he's forced to fight to keep his place, his holy land. He doesn't belong anywhere. He tries to find a place where he belongs. He has to fight, and it's basically street fighting, and he's basically fighting all these different people and yada yada yada. And it gets to a point where it's kind of just, but it's really good. I like the fighting. I like the story progression. But that third part is really gonna. It's if you really want to get to the finish line, which I'm telling you, the ending is pretty good, or however I remember it, it was pretty good. Only problem was the third part. So like I'll say 120 to 100 like 60. 100 some to 100 like 60 some is bleh, and then the last 20 some chapters are pretty good. That's what I'll say. That's what I'll say. But the first 100 chapters is solid. But this is already done. You're gonna binge read it anyway, so go ahead and stop bitching. Just go ahead and read it. If you don't like it, it's whatever. As you can see, 899 rated pretty highly. It's pretty good. That's all I'm gonna say. Next. This is one of my top five favorite mangas. This shit goes through a little bit of a weird phase as well, but it's basically about this kid who doesn't really belong anywhere, doesn't know what his calling is in life. Then he meets a guy, and that guy kind of shows him what being a rock star is like. And then that's what he tries to do. He tries to be like the cool guy, which everybody likes, and tries to be a rock star. And he has a unique voice, so he becomes a singer. And he learns how to play the guitar, and it's like he doesn't learn how to play the guitar like right away. Like the whole story, he's like learning how to play guitar because it's like realistic. Like this shit is not happening like in a month or 2 months. This shit is like happening over like I mean, it's not. It's just not happening over a year or 2 years. It's just like happening in months. Like you'll see shit happening. You see how like the band, the main band like forms. You see like all the shit that happens, all the fallouts, all the fighting, all the infighting, all the tours that they go on, the records that they sell, everything that happens to them in the story. You'll see it unfold. You see him start off from like this guy who's literally nothing. He doesn't have an identity, and he just kind of floating away at life. He doesn't have anything, and he gets introduced to this, and it breathes a spark of life into his body. Like holy shit, like I am somebody, I am something, I have something to hold on to, I have something to make a part of my identity, I have something that I can do that'll make me happy. And that's what basically this whole thing is about. It's about him, it's about his band, it's about his bandmates, it's about music. And obviously music doesn't translate well to the manga. There is a 26 anime thing by Madhouse if you want to go check it out. I never watched it. I basically just read the manga and I just imagined the songs the way they sounded in my head, I'll be honest with you. And I like it. It's really good. It's one of my favorite. It's top 5 for me. I remember reading it. I remember rereading it a couple of times, and every time I just, oh my god, it's really good, man. I enjoy it. It's really one of my favorite shits to ever read. Next, The Faraway Paladin. As a guy who got into anime and I mean isekai before all these isekai anime started coming out, like all these isekai anime that are coming out, like the new one Mashley, I read that shit so long ago that I forgot about it until the anime started coming out. I was like, holy crap, I remember this. And it's so crazy to me that every anime or every manga that I read back in the day is literally like an anime now, especially this one. This one is one of those, it takes a certain trope and it makes it into a real story. So it takes that isekai trope and it makes it into a real story. And you see how the main character develops his power, his life, and it's really a lot about life and death and the meaning of it all because he dies, right? He dies, he gets reincarnated into a baby, and then his parents are basically his dad is like a dead knight, like a death knight, an undead knight, like a skeleton knight. His mom is like a zombie, whatever, and his grandfather is like a ghost. So yeah, it's three people who are like dead spirits, and they're like raising him. And it's really crazy the way that he learns shit and the way that his life is, and then shit happens and him exploring the world. It's only 57 chapters, but those 57 chapters are long. Hold on, let me double check real quick. I want to double check how many like chapters, how many pages are there per chapter. I'm not even caught up to it. Hold on, I'm pretty sure I'm like 6 chapters behind. I'm on chapter 50 right now. Yeah, it's like 50 pages per chapter, and it's really deep. Like read this on your computer. There's a lot of dialogue. The action is really good. The fighting is really good. The side characters, especially the side characters, are really good. This shit made me cry when like the first part of this anime, the first part of this manga ended. I literally cried. I was like, holy shit, this is so sad. Like I wasn't ready to get invested into something, and this made me invest. It really is one of those gems that are like shining out in the rough for real. Like this is really good. It's an isekai obviously, but it takes that trope and it furthers it, man. The world development is pretty alright. There's like these gods in it that are pretty cool. The magic is pretty cool. A lot of cool shit in this. Go ahead and check it out. It's called the Faraway Paladin, whatever it is. Go check it out. Uh, well, that's it for manga that you've never heard of. You might have heard of some of them. You might have seen some of them, but now I'm recommending them to you. How about that? I'm recommending them to you. I do have a video planned for manhwa, Korean manhwa that you've never heard of, which I guarantee you haven't heard of at least, I don't know how many, but at least 3 or 4 of them. So, yeah. Thank you guys for watching. Please like the video, comment, subscribe. Share it if you want. I don't really care. Please, I'm uploading every day. I take a lot of my time to do this. Thank you guys. Peace.